So we're going to start today on our backs. So we're going to stay nice and gentle today. When you get down there, go ahead and bring your knees right up to your chest. You have a few options here, so you can either interlace the fingers around the front of the shins, maybe grab opposite wrist. If that's not comfortable for you, you can grab each shin individually, pulling the knees towards the shoulders. And if that still is difficult, we can bring the hands right below or underneath, the backs of the knees, right against the hamstrings. We're going to use this as our starting posture today to really allow the belly and the ribs to soften using gravity in our favor. As we start to deepen the breath, inhaling down into the belly. If it feels good to take some gentle rocking movements side to side, we're going to be here for a few more moments. So do what your body's asking of you. And if you find that it is difficult to find balance in the spine or staying in a neutral position here, imagine shooting the tailbone down towards the front of the mat, which is going to help scoop the tail and bring the low back really flush with the mat, increasing your stability. So today I really want to focus on the breath and syncing the breath with the movement. I think my parents are in class today. Hi, Mom and Dad. And one of them had mentioned the other day, I think it was my dad, said, "What's up with all the deep breathing?" And it made me giggle because in yoga and meditation, there is such a heavy focus on the breath. So the breath is thought to be the connector between our consciousness and our nervous system. So when we breathe, the muscles become engaged on the inhale, neurologically, and on the exhale, they are designed to relax. So the deeper that we're breathing, the more relaxed, or the deeper the relaxation activation is in the muscle. Also, when we exhale, and again, you're still in your knees to chest position, shoulders are dropping down to the mat. When we exhale, the diaphragm pushes up against the heart, which decreases blood pressure, which is going to activate relaxation, which softens out the diaphragm, the intercostal muscles that we talked about last class on Wednesday, in between the ribs, allowing for a bigger expanse in the lungs. So there are energetic and physiological benefits to deep breathing. Okay, so on your next exhale, we're going to slowly, gently drop the feet down to the mat. We're going to start with warming up the spine today. Left leg is going to shoot out long to the front of the mat. Right knee is going right back up where it was. Catch the shin with both hands. And we're going to start by moving and giving some compression on the front of the hip. So we will inhale at stillness. Exhale, gently pull, it's a really tiny move, your knee towards your right shoulder. Inhale, and on the exhale, gently pull the knee towards the left shoulder. You may only get as far as in line with your belly button, but that's okay. Inhale, exhale, knee comes back over to the right shoulder. Inhale, exhale, over to the left shoulder. And then this time, left hand is coming to the outside of the right knee. Right hand is expanding out long at your side, and we bring the right leg across the body for a reclined twist. If you have spinal issues that make this uncomfortable, you can stay elevated, just drawing that knee towards the left shoulder. If your leg doesn't quite reach the ground and you feel a pressure in the groin, prop that foot up on a pillow, a block, a folded blanket, just to give it a little more support. So we inhale here, and on the exhale, start to soften. Take one more big inhale here, and we're going to use our exhale to move. So on your exhale, belly button draws back towards the spine, and that core activation is what guides us back through center. So we're not yanking and lifting from the leg, we're moving from our center. Let's take it to the other side. So right leg comes out long, left leg comes up, we catch the shin with both hands. We inhale, and on the exhale, we gently pull the left knee towards the left shoulder. Belly is nice and heavy. If you feel that your right hip is coming off the ground too much, you can always bring the sole of your right foot to the ground for a little more stability. Exhale, knee over towards the right shoulder. Inhale, exhale, draws the knee back over towards the left shoulder. Exhale, knee comes over towards the right shoulder, and we start to take it all the way to our side body twist. So right hand comes to the outside of the left knee, left arm shoots out to a half T at our side, and we guide the leg over across the body to the right side. This side may feel different based on its own body history, and that's okay. So we'll adjust accordingly, whether that means coming off the twist a little bit or giving a support underneath the foot. If you need a little bit more of a stretch, you can turn to look past your left fingertips, bringing a stretch into the right side of the neck, the shoulder. Inhale for one more breath, and on our exhale, belly button draws back towards the spine, we move through center. Awesome. Sole of the left foot is going to come down to the ground. You may be familiar with this next one. I think Ellie maybe's used this in some of her stretch breaks. So we're going to bring the ankle of the right foot right on top of the left thigh. So we've now got this figure 4 shape. If this feels comfortable for you, we'll stay right here. Otherwise, we'll all lift that left leg so the left shin is parallel to the ground. So we're going to practice moving with the breath here in this low impact reclined position. So we're going to inhale. On the exhale, drop the foot down to the ground. And now I'll sync you up with the breath. So we inhale here and exhale, belly button draws back to the spine. The hips grow nice and heavy as we pull up on the exhale. Drop the leg down. Inhale in stillness. Exhale, lift. Inhale in stillness. Exhale, lift. Hold for 1 beat. And we gently lower the foot back down to the ground. Inhale in stillness. And exhale, lift. This time we're holding. We're going to thread our hands around the left hamstring, pulling that left knee towards the chest. We're going to stay right here for 3 breath cycles. So we inhale deeply into the belly. Exhale out through the nose or the mouth. Inhale down into the belly. Exhale through the nose or mouth. Inhale. And on the exhale, we'll gently lower the left sole down to the mat. Unravel your right foot so that it comes to meet the left. If you need a hand assist to do that, that's perfectly fine. Right sole stays against the ground as we lift the left ankle up and over on top of the right thigh. So we'll stay here for just a beat, letting the hip understand what we're about to do. Inhale, and on the exhale, we'll lift the right leg. Shin is parallel to the mat. If you feel like this is difficult, maybe you don't have, you're still working on the abdominal strength to hold yourself here, that's okay. You can always grab the sides of your mat here if that feels a little bit more stable. Okay, so we're going to lower the foot and we sync up with the breath. So we inhale in stillness, exhale, belly engages, belly button draws back to the spine as we lift the right leg. Lower, inhale in stillness, exhale, leg lifts, lower, inhale in stillness, exhale, we lift, lower. Last time, we inhale in stillness, exhale, we lift. Hands come behind the right hamstring as we tug the right knee gently towards the chest. Both feet are engaged, so toes are pulling back towards the shins. We do this to activate the muscles and tendons around the knee to protect the knee. One more breath cycle here. So we're inhaling down into the belly. And on the exhale, we lower, feet unravel. We're going to make our way up onto all fours. So I'll give you a few options to get there, depending on how you're feeling today. So you can either lift the legs, bringing the hands right behind the hips, engaging up through the heels, and rocking yourself up and through onto all fours. If that's uncomfortable, you can always come to the side body using your hands to press you up, rolling through the ankles, we come to all fours. So I'll wait a moment for you to join me. And we're going to start to warm up the fluid in the spine. So we'll roll through some alignment cues here just to make sure that you're setting your body up for safe success. So our wrists are right underneath the shoulders, knees are directly underneath the hips. We're pressing into the tops of the feet for stability. So aim at shooting that pinky toe to touch the ground. Even if it comes nowhere near, the act of attempting is going to make the feet flat against the ground or putting pressure for stability. In the hands, we're pressing into all 5 fingertips and the fleshy part of the hand between the forefinger and the thumb, creating the doming effect. In the wrist, so we're protecting our wrists. Chest cavity is slightly domed, so we're pressing away from the mat. Belly button is engaged and pulled up towards the spine to protect the low back. Gaze is straight down. Awesome. So we're going to start to move cat-cows. Everyone generally knows cat-cows, but if you don't, that's okay. It feels a little silly if it's the first time that you've done it, but trust me, it feels so good. So we're going to inhale, drop the belly, tailbone shoots up to the sky, chest is wide open, gaze forward. Exhale, we round through from the tail, exaggerating the doming effect in the chest cavity, pressing away from the ground, crown of the head drops down towards the earth. Inhale, drop the belly, open the chest. Exhale, we round through. Inhale, drop the belly, open the chest. Remember to press away from your yoga mat so we're lifting out of the shoulder joints instead of dumping our weight into them. Exhale, we round through, trying to pull the tailbone right up to the belly button. Crown drops. One more round, we inhale, drop the belly, open the chest, look forward, exhale. We round through. This time we're going to come back to tabletop. Hips are going to bump over towards the left as we turn to look past the right foot. We inhale here for 1 breath. Exhale rolls us back through center. We take it to the other side. Hips bump over to the right. We turn to look past our left foot. Inhale, and on the exhale, we move. One more time. Hips drop over to the left. We turn past the right. Exhale, we round through, hips over to the right. We look past the left. Exhale, round through. Awesome. We meet back in tabletop. Big toes come together. Knees come as wide as the yoga mat. We sink the hips back onto the heels, and we're just going to take a restorative passive stretch in extended child's pose. So belly, chest, forehead starts to drop down to the mat. Fingertips are extended out towards the front of the mat. If this is uncomfortable because of a shoulder injury or tightness, or it just doesn't feel the best on your hips, you can always come into a traditional child's pose, balasana, where the knees come together, arches are together, and again, we drop the belly, chest, forehead to the mat, arms shoot towards the back edge of the mat. So pick your pose. And we're going to stay here for 5 breath cycles, seeing if you can soften on the exhale. Energetically, you can think about the tailbone shooting out, or excuse me, the spine shooting out from the tail and extending out through the crown. On your exhales, growing taller, opening up the space between each vertebrae. One more breath cycle here. So a deep inhale. And a full exhale. Wonderful. We're going to draw ourselves back up to all fours. Knees come back to meet us underneath the hips. We're going to walk the hands out slightly in space. We've got this slight angle from the wrist to the shoulder. Toes are going to curl under against our mat. And you know where we're probably going. So we inhale in stillness. Exhale is what fuels our movement. So on the exhale, we're lifting from the center. Hips are going up high as we come into our first downward dog. When you get there, adjust accordingly. So we said this last time, the integrity and straightness of your spine is always going to be more important than the straightness of your legs. So if you feel that your spine is not straight, or you feel like you're exerting so much effort to get your legs straight, back up a little bit. Bend the knees. Pull the belly button back towards the spine. We're clawing through the fingertips for stability. Elbow creases are shining towards each other or towards the front of the mat. Ears are right between the biceps. Inhale here for one more breath. And on our exhale, we're going to take a slow walk up towards the front of the mat. So you can do that by just taking little steps up to meet your hands, or if you want to do a crisscross walk, bringing the right foot over to the left side of the mat, left foot over to the right, really exaggerating that stretch in the IT band, that's totally fine. We'll all meet together at the front of the mat, feet directly behind the hands, in a forward fold. We're going to start moving a little more than we were previously. So if you have layers that you want to shed, now would be the perfect time to do that. So when you're here, again, knees can be bent, hands can be against the mat, you can be clasping opposite elbow. And before we start to move, we will release the crown of the head here down towards the earth. One big inhale here, and on the exhale, we're going to wake up the hamstring. So we're straightening the left leg, turning to look underneath the left armpit, right leg stays bent. Big inhale, and on your exhale, we switch. Left leg bends, right leg straightens. We turn to look underneath the right armpit. Exhale, right leg bends, left leg straightens. We look underneath the left armpit. One more inhale. Exhale is what moves you. Left leg bends, right leg straightens underneath the right armpit. Exhale brings us back to center. We're rolling straight up to mountain. So nice and slow. Let the blood start to settle back into the body. Adjust your pants or your shirts accordingly. And we find ourselves in mountain pose, Tadasana. Oh, look at that. I cut my head off again, even though I didn't mean to. That's all right. So I'll just walk you through then, since you can't see my shoulders. So shoulders are pulled down away from the ears. Shoulder blades are pinching together like you are trying to hold a pencil in between your shoulder blades. Palms are facing forward, nice and wide, which is going to help open the chest, externally rotating the shoulders. We're pressing down through the ball joints of our big toe, pinky toe, and heel equally. Arches are lifted off the ground. We're engaged up through the midline, through the inner thigh and groin. And shoulder blades melt down the back. Awesome. We're going to go through our little warm-up dance that we went through last time. If at any point something doesn't feel right in your body, please skip it. Know that I'm here to help guide you, but this is your practice. So your body will tell you exactly what it needs if we only listen. So here we go. We're going to bend the knees and drop the hands. On the inhale, they're going up overhead, palms kiss together. On the exhale, we're bending the knees and bending from the hips to come back into our forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale lifts you up halfway. Hands can be either on the ground, the shins, or the tops of the thighs, but we want to create this straightness from the crown all the way to the tail. Like you could set a teacup on the back of your neck. Exhale, we fold. Hands come down to the mat. We're stepping the left foot back, then the right foot. We're going to skip our upward facing dog today. You don't want to be too sweaty going back to work. So we're here in plank at the top of a push-up. We inhale and exhale, we move from our center, pulling the hips up high for downward facing dog. We're here for one full breath cycle until you inhale again. And exhale is what sends you up to the top of the mats. And we roll right back up into mountain. Palms come together and descend at the heart space, Andale Mudra. We're going to go through this dance again. We're warming up the spine, reminding the spine that it knows how to move. Here we go. We inhale, arms go down to come up. Exhale, we fold. Use your full exhale to go all the way down. Inhale lifts you halfway. Exhale, we fold. Hands come down to the mat. Left foot back, right foot back. We inhale here for one breath. Exhale sends the hips up high, downward facing dog. We inhale for one full breath cycle. And exhale sends you up to the top of the mat, and we roll up to mountain. We're going to go through this for 3 more cycles. I'll let you move at your own pace and I'll cue on occasion. But here we go for the first round. Down to come up. Exhale. Inhale. Halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale for plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. One full breath cycle here. Take a really deep inhale and a full exhale before you send yourself back up. Rolling up to mountain. Arms come up overhead, descend at the heart space. And we begin again. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. So a nice visual that I like to use for the power of the breath is imagine blowing up a balloon, right? What happens when we put air in a balloon? It inflates, it grows, it expands. If we don't tie off the balloon and we just let go of the opening and let the air out, what happens to the balloon? It moves So when we exhale from our lungs, like a balloon, we're fueling our movement, the power of the breath. Wherever you are, we'll do one more round or finish up the one that you're on. Exhale, we fold Uttanasana. Inhale, lifts you up halfway. Exhale, fold. And when you come into your downward dog, we're going to stay here for 3 breath cycles. Widen your stance if you need to, turning the toes into the midline slightly. And on your exhale, we will drop the knees right down to the mat, sink the hips back onto the heels. Let's go traditional Balasana, child's pose, forehead to the mat, arms reach behind you and space to the back of the mat. Go ahead and let the shoulders round. Round forward, grow heavy. We inhale here for one more breath. Exhale draws our hands back in front of our head as we pull ourselves up onto all fours. We're going to stay nice and low for this next sequence. However you need to get here is totally up to you. We're going to be bringing the right foot right in between the hands. If it's easier for you to straighten this back leg, your left leg, in order to bring your foot up, that's fine. If you need to use a downward dog as a transition to step your right foot up, that's great. Or if you can get here from your tabletop position, that's fine too. So we're going to come into a nice low lunge, knee over ankle. We're pressing into the triangle of our foot. We're pressing down through the top of the foot on the back leg. Shoulder blades are pinching together, chest is wide, gaze is forward. Take one more inhale here, and our exhale powers our movement as we press up. Hands come at our sides. If you need to adjust your footing so that you are not on a tightrope, but instead on 2 skis, please do so. Palms come wide. We inhale, both arms come up overhead. Exhale, we're bringing left elbow to the outside of the right knee for a low revolved lunge. Okay, when you get there, we're drawing belly button towards the thigh. So we're moving and twisting from the core, not from the upper body. And last but not least, we're sending the heart towards the thumbs. So we're encouraging the deepening of this twist and opening of the chest by shooting the heart towards the thumbs. One more inhale here. And on your exhale, we bring it back to our low lunge. This time, hands are coming down to the mat, right next to the right heel. As we bring the hips up and over, straightening the right toes. If that's too much for you and you need to keep that right knee bent, that's fine. Otherwise, we'll straighten the right leg for a half pyramid, half split. If it feels good to drop the forehead towards the knee, you're more than welcome. We're pressing into the top of that back foot for stability. That's our foundation. One more inhale, and on the exhale, we roll back through to our low lunge. Right hand is coming right next to the right arch. Right shoulder is in line with the right knee. As we turn the belly button towards the left side of the mat and open left arm towards the ceiling. If you have neck issues, we want to keep our gaze straight out in front of you instead of turning to look up at the ceiling. On your exhale, left hand is spiraling towards the front of the mat, coming down gracefully to replace the right hand. As we rotate towards the right, right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Remember your foundation, the triangle in your foot, the top of your back foot. Exhale, right hand comes to the outside of the right foot, so both hands are framing. We're going to gently pull the right leg back to meet the left. Take a little rest if you need to before we move to the other side. When you're ready, we'll bring left foot up in between the hands for our low lunge. If pressing into the top of the back foot feels really unstable for you, you can always curl the toes under to have a bigger platform. We're light on the fingertips, we're not jumping down. If you have a stack of books or blocks that you would like to use to bring the ground up to you, you certainly can. Otherwise, belly button is down next to the left thigh. We're knee over ankle. We're pressing into our triangle. Chest is forward, gaze is forward. And we're one more inhale here and exhale. We power up. Inhale, arms come up overhead as we take it to the other side. So this time, right elbow is coming to the outside of the left knee. Keeping the left knee above that left ankle. We turn the belly button towards the left thigh. And last but not least, we try and shoot the heart space towards the thumbs. Pressing into the back foot and the triangle in the front foot for stability. That's our foundation. Squeezing the inner thighs together. Take one more inhale here. And exhale brings you right back up. As the hands come down on the exhale, we straighten, hips up and over the midline, left toes towards the ceiling, half split, half pyramid. Bend your knee if this is way too much in the hamstring. We're pulling the femur and the thigh back into the hip socket. One more inhale here, and on the exhale, we roll through, fueling the movement. Left hand comes to the inner arch of the left foot, and we inhale, opening right arm up towards the ceiling. Looking up at the hand if that feels good, or keeping the neck neutral, gazing out straight. One more inhale here. And on the exhale, right hand gracefully replaces the left as we lift the left arm up to the ceiling. Big inhale. If you fall, that's okay. I was talking to someone the other day about yoga being such a great teacher of humility, and how we get to safely practice again and again what it feels like to fall and get back up again. So if you fall, know that it's okay, as long as you get back up. Exhale, left hand comes down to frame the left hand. We curl the toe of the back leg and bring the right foot back to meet the left. Big toes come together, knees as wide as your yoga mat. Sink the hips back, just for one breath in child's pose. On your exhale, we draw up and we're going all the way through onto the belly. When you get there, we press the tops of the feet into the ground for stability. Knees are engaged, activating the thighs. Glutes are firm, but we're not squeezing. Hands are right underneath the shoulders, next to the armpits, really right in line with the breastbone. Gaze is straight down, shoulders are pulled away from the ears. Take a breath or two here and feel how the expansion of your belly starts to lift you off the ground. And that's the next movement that we're going to do. So we inhale into the belly, and that literally lifts us up as we bring the chest open, forward, gaze forward, baby cobra. Exhale, forehead drops down to the mat. Inhale, belly expands, lifting us up off the ground. Exhale, we fold. Elbows are tucked tight into the side body. Inhale, belly lifts the chest. Gaze forward, exhale, fold. Awesome. Relax the body. We're going to do a transition to practice some grace with our movements. We're going to curl the toes under, okay? Hands stay right where they are. If you have a shoulder injury or you're feeling very inflamed or sore, don't feel that you need to use this transition. You can come up onto the knees in a half push-up and move from there. Otherwise, we're going to inhale, and on our exhale, we're going right up into plank. This is the last big move we're doing today, and then I promise you get to relax. Inhale and exhale. We power through the hands coming up to plank. We inhale again for one breath. Exhale. Hips are going up high for downward facing dog for one breath. And exhale sends you up to meet the hands. We're going to stay nice and low. Heel toe. The feet as wide as the yoga mat or as wide as is comfortable. So heels stay on the mat. Toes are spilling off the mat at a 45-degree angle. You can use your fingertips as a guide, or if you like the challenge of practicing your balance, we can do that too. As we start to sink the pelvis, the groin, the sits bones down in between the alignment of the heels for our yogi squat. If you don't feel like you have the range of movement yet, or that is something that you're actively working on, bring a blanket or a pillow right up underneath the heels to help elevate, or you can shorten your stance and bring the hands down to the mat, maybe resting the knees gently on the backs of the arms for stability. Otherwise, we sink the pelvis right in between the heels. Elbows are coming to the inner knees, palms together at the heart space. And again, just like we did in our low twists, we reach the heart towards the thumbs, lengthening the spine. This is so good for the low back, the hips, the groin, the front of the thighs, even the feet, ankles. Take one more breath here, and on the exhale, we're going to use our hands as gentle guides, one in front, one behind, as we sink down onto the hips. When you get there, left foot is coming into the midline, so hip right to pelvis, right leg is out long. We're engaging the foot of the left and engaging in the right, toes up towards the sky. Just going to do a gentle hamstring stretch before we close out our practice today. So right hand can be either on the inside of the thigh, the outside of the thigh. You can bring elbow down to the ground with forearm next to the shin, if that feels good. And we inhale, left arm comes up to the ceiling. And if this is the only range of motion that you have today, or you don't even have it here, that's okay. Your body knows its edge and it will tell you when to stop. Otherwise, if you need a little more, we'll inhale, and on the exhale, we'll reach left fingers over towards the right toes while the belly button is still shining out through our midline. One more breath here. And exhale, belly button to spine. We move from our core to bring ourselves back upright. Let's take it to the other side. Right leg comes in. Heel to pelvis. We're active through both feet. Hand by the inside of the thigh, outside of the thigh, or forearm down to the mat. Maybe on this side you can't get the forearm all the way down to the mat and you need to adjust. That's okay. And we inhale, right arm up towards the ceiling. Belly button is shining out through the midline. And exhale, maybe fingers come over towards the left. Ooh, I'm way more tight on this side. We're pressing down through the left heel for stability. Top of the thigh is strong. Knee is engaged. One more breath here. And on the exhale, belly button comes back to spine as we draw ourselves back up through center. Excellent. We're going to bring ourselves to a cross-legged position. Either legs crossed in Sukhasana, just as you normally would, like how you did in elementary school. Or you can come to Siddhasana, heel to pelvis, heel to ankle. We're going to sit up nice and tall. And the very last thing we'll do today is we are going to bow at the end of our practice. So moving from the hips, we crawl ourselves forward, bringing the hands to the earth. Maybe you get the forearms all the way down, and we just drop the crown of the head towards the earth, finishing out our practice with a forward fold. Exhale draws you back up through center. Take as much time as you need. Any other organic movements that you feel that you need to take today before you get off your mat, please do so. Drink plenty of water. You may want to take a hot bath or a hot shower later this evening. And if you have any questions, you can certainly reach out to me through Ellie.